All right, everybody, welcome to lesson 7 of our first social studies unit. I'm not going to lie to you ahead of time. The task at the end of this particular lesson is going to be a little tougher than you're used to. All right, if it takes you a couple of days to do, that's absolutely fine. If you have to stop, rest, and come back to it, that's fine. All right, this one I expect it to take a little longer than what you're used to doing. It's there's a lot of reading, a lot more reading involved than maybe you're used to. All right, but still, I expect everyone to do the best that they can, and I think everybody should be okay. All right, so first, first things first. Before we go too far, what is culture? Right, and I don't mean a culture of bacteria. What is culture? Human culture? Well, it's this term that refers to the customs, arts, beliefs, and achievements of a nation or of a group of people. All right? So, your arts, your belief system, your customs, so things like your language, um, the types of buildings you traditionally live in, um, ways of life, and achievements, so things that are important that your people have done, right? Of a nation or a group of people. Identity. What's identity? Well, identity in the cultural sense, which is what we're talking about today, cultural identity is a feeling of belonging to a nation or a group, right? So the culture is these customs, arts, beliefs, achievements of a nation or a group of people. And your cultural identity is your feeling of belonging to a nation or a group. Right? The two things go hand in hand. Right? One is the customs and systems of a group. Your cultural identity is who you are as a member of that group. Okay? So, another thing I want to talk about is oral versus written history. So, oral history is when history is passed through speech and storytelling, right? And Indigenous peoples in Canada traditionally pass their history on through storytelling, all right? So, whoever the knowledge keeper is, say for the Anishinaabe, it would be the Mitawan Society, right? They would pass down the history of their people and the culture and customs of their people through storytelling, oral history. Written history is when history is passed through writing, books, letters, um, poems, things like this, right? And in Europe, let's say, this is how history is commonly passed down through writing. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages to both. Okay? In oral history is because human memories are not perfect, sometimes parts of the story could be lost along the way. But written history, though you're less likely to lose things because it's a little more permanent, it loses that aspect of the human touch, right? It's a little more cold and emotionless. Sometimes, yeah, maybe through a letter you could get some emotion, but you lose like the tone of voice and things like this that give the emotion associated with an event or with a custom, right? So there are advantages and disadvantages to each. Neither is perfect. Neither is what I would call the right way to do it. Perhaps a combination of the two would be ideal, but neither is right or wrong. They're just different. Okay? So your task for today is, oddly enough, we're almost combining the two, actually. We have 3 interviews. One with Mi'kmaq singers, another with an Anishinaabe artist, painter, and one with Haudenosaunee lacrosse players. All right? And here, these are spoken interviews, but they're written down because there's not really a good way to distribute them through a textbook otherwise. Okay? So, what you're going to do is for each of those interviews, you are going to put a couple of points in each box on the sheet. Right? I'm not asking for an essay or a novel here. I'm just asking for a couple of points to talk about the importance of oral history to each of these, the singers, the artists, and the lacrosse players, the role of elders for each of these people or groups, and the importance of spirituality. All right? So go through, read through these, and then as best as you can, fill out this table. Okay? That is your task for today. There is one more task. It's not even a full lesson, but one more task for this unit, and then we'll be done and we will move on to the next science one. All right? So until then, take care of yourselves and stay safe.